Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In was more than just a TV show, it was a cultural revolution. With its rapid-fire jokes, zany sketches, and unforgettable catchphrases, it defined comedy for an entire generation. But as we fast-forward to 2025, fans everywhere are asking, what happened to the iconic cast? In this video, we'll take a nostalgic journey back to the groovy days of the late 60s and early 70s, and reveal what the beloved stars of Laugh-In are up to today. Some continued to shine in Hollywood, others took surprising new paths, and a few left us with lasting legacies. Prepare to be amazed by the transformations, touched by the memories, and maybe even surprised by who's still making us laugh in 2025. Dan Rowan, co-host and the straight man of the dynamic comedy duo on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, was 45 years old when the show debuted. Known for his calm, collected, and sharply dressed persona, Rowan provided the perfect counterbalance to Martin's zany humor. While the show brought him immense fame, his post-Laugh-In career faltered. Unable to secure roles that matched his earlier acclaim, he withdrew from the limelight. Rowan was married to Australian model Adriana Van Balaguian, but the marriage ended in divorce after 10 years, strained by his drinking and long absences. They had one daughter, Lisa, whom he remained distant from due to his emotional detachment. He battled depression and chronic illness in his later years, especially after a failed business venture and losing his Malibu home to fire. Struggling with diabetes and emphysema, Rowan passed away in 1987 at the age of 65 from lymphoma. At the time of his death, his estate had dwindled to approximately $300,000 after years of medical bills and legal disputes. Once hailed as a television pioneer, Rowan died a recluse in Florida, his legacy overshadowed by the silence that followed his fame. Dick Martin, the comic foil to Dan Rowan, was 45 when Laugh-In launched and quickly became beloved for his goofy charm, quick wit, and signature smirk. Behind the scenes, however, Martin's life was marred by personal turmoil. He married singer Peggy Connolly in the 1950s, but their marriage collapsed due to his infidelities and alcohol issues. He later wed actress Dolly Redd, a union that also ended in divorce despite producing two sons, Carrie and Spencer, whom he rarely saw. After Laugh-In, Martin found moderate success directing sitcoms but faced declining health and bouts of loneliness. He suffered from deteriorating eyesight due to a childhood illness and spent his final years partially blind. A bitter legal battle with his sons over royalties further strained his final decade. Martin died in 2008 at age 86 from respiratory failure. Despite his long career, his estate was reportedly worth only $500,000, much of it spent on healthcare. Known once for laughter, his final years were marked by silence, regret, and the weight of missed reconciliation. Gary Owens, the unforgettable announcer with the deep, authoritative voice and absurd humor, was in his early 30s when Laugh-In began. His deadpan delivery and surreal interjections became the auditory heartbeat of the show. Yet behind the microphone, Owens lived a deeply private and often painful life. Married to Arleta Markel for over 4 decades, their bond endured infidelity rumors, financial strain, and the heartbreaking loss of their only son, Scott, to leukemia at age 24. Owens never fully recovered from that tragedy. Though he continued voice work, including iconic characters like Space Ghost, he battled Parkinson's disease for years, forcing him into retirement. A loner in his later years, Owens lived quietly in Encino, writing obscure radio comedy anthologies. He died in 2015 at age 80. His estate, diminished by medical costs, was estimated around $400,000. Though he brought surreal joy to millions, his own life became marked by silence, stillness, and a yearning for his lost son. Ruth Buzzy, who created the unforgettable character of Gladys Ormsby, joined Laugh-In in her 30s and quickly became a comedic icon through her physical slapstick and expressive scowls. While the audience laughed, Buzzy's own story unfolded with deep sorrow. She married actor Kent Perkins, and while they remained officially together, the marriage grew cold and distant following 2 devastating miscarriages. They never had children, and Ruth often buried herself in work to cope with the void. Following the show's end, roles dwindled, and she turned to voice work and painting, feeling forgotten by Hollywood. In her later years, Buzzy was diagnosed with dementia and suffered a series of strokes. She died in May 2025 at the age of 88. Isolated from most of her industry peers and long estranged from her family due to inheritance conflicts, Buzzy passed away in a Texas care home. Her estate, including a modest ranch and art collection, was valued at approximately $600,000, left primarily to animal charities, her only consistent comfort. Alan Suze, who delighted audiences with flamboyant characters like Big Al, was 41 when Laugh-In launched. Beneath the glittering costumes and eccentricity lay a man struggling with identity and societal rejection. Suze was briefly married to Phyllis Gehrig, but the marriage ended in less than 2 years amid rumors about his sexuality, something he never publicly confirmed but that haunted his career. Following the show, he was typecast and rarely cast in serious roles, spiraling into depression and alcohol dependency. He had no children and grew increasingly reclusive, especially after losing his beloved poodle, Max, in 1997. In his later years, he lived in near poverty, supported by a few loyal fans and old friends. Suze passed away in 2011 at the age of 85 from cardiac arrest. At the time of his death, he had less than $100,000 in assets and lived in a small rent-controlled apartment. Once the life of the sketch comedy party, he died nearly forgotten, except by those who remembered his laughter. Arte Johnson, best known for his unforgettable catchphrase, "Very interesting," and his portrayal of the oddball Nazi officer Wolfgang, was 38 when he rose to fame on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. His zany characters and impeccable timing brought levity during a turbulent era, making him a standout performer. Yet, Johnson's off-screen life was tinged with sorrow. He endured 2 marriages. His first ended acrimoniously, and his second suffered from the strains of his demanding career and health struggles. He fathered one son who battled addiction, a challenge that weighed heavily on Johnson's heart. In his later years, he was diagnosed with throat cancer, which contributed to his passing in 2019 at the age of 90. Financially, Johnson amassed a modest estate estimated around $1.2 million, primarily from TV residuals and voice-over roles. Despite personal trials, he was cherished by colleagues for his generosity and humor, maintaining close friendships until the end. His life was a bittersweet mix of laughter on screen and private battles behind the scenes. Byron Gilliam, who graced Laugh-In as an energetic dancer and performer in his mid-20s, was a vibrant presence whose career never quite matched the early promise of the show. After Laugh-In, his trajectory faltered with only sporadic, minor roles. His personal life was marked by 2 failed marriages, producing 3 children named Marcus, Elaine, and Sophia, though strained relationships with his family caused long periods of separation. Financial instability and bouts of alcoholism plagued him through the decades, resulting in periods of homelessness and estrangement. Now in his late 70s, Byron lives quietly in a modest apartment, having recently sought rehabilitation and support to regain some semblance of stability. His financial situation remains fragile, with little saved from his early career earnings, and he largely remains out of the public eye, occasionally reconnecting with devoted fans who remember his Laugh-In days fondly. Henry Gibson, aged 32 when he assumed the role of the parson on Laugh-In, was admired for his sharp satirical monologues and poetic style. His career post-Laugh-In was a patchwork of acclaim and obscurity, with standout roles in films but also long stretches of unemployment. His personal life was tumultuous. Married 3 times and father to 4 children, Gibson endured difficult divorces that left emotional scars and fractured family ties. A severe car accident in the late 1980s further deepened his struggles with depression and physical pain. Despite these hardships, Gibson remained committed to his craft until his death in 2009 at age 73 from heart failure. He left behind an estate valued near $3 million, sourced largely from acting royalties and occasional stage work. His legacy is remembered for its intellectual wit and poignant contributions to comedic arts, though his personal battles reveal a more fragile side to this gifted performer. Lily Tomlin, who was 32 when she introduced beloved characters like Ernestine and Edith and on Laugh-In, crafted a unique comedic voice that blended innocence with sharp social commentary. Her career blossomed following the show, yet her personal life carried its share of difficulties. She was married once in a brief but intense relationship and, though childless, experienced heartbreak through a long-term partnership marred by infidelities and emotional distance. Early in her career, she suffered the loss of a close family member, which led to bouts of anxiety and self-doubt that shadowed her success. Now 85, Tomlin continues to act and advocate passionately for LGBTQ+ rights and animal welfare. With an estimated net worth of $20 million, she has transformed adversity into resilience and remains an inspiring figure who balances humor with heartfelt activism. Dennis Allen, recognized for his role as Lieutenant Peaches, was 29 when Laugh-In propelled him into public view, though he never quite reached the same level of fame as some peers. His subsequent career declined with infrequent roles and mounting financial hardship. Married once to a fellow actress, their union ended bitterly after 3 years, with no further marriages. The couple had one daughter, Michelle, who endured a difficult relationship with her absentee father. Allen's personal demons included alcoholism and brushes with the law, culminating in his premature death at 62 due to liver failure. His passing was quiet, with little public notice, and his estate was minimal, burdened by debts and lacking substantial assets. Despite his decline, Allen is remembered by Laugh-In aficionados for his charm and comic timing, a reminder of the fleeting nature of fame. Joanne Worley, famed for her boisterous performances and unmistakable laugh, was 29 when she joined Laugh-In. She brought an infectious energy to the show that endeared her to fans. However, her personal life was marked by emotional turbulence. She was twice married, with both relationships ending in divorce amid accusations of emotional abuse and infidelity. She is mother to 2 sons, David and Paul, whose relationship with her has been strained, especially after a tragic car accident that left Paul with lasting disabilities. Worley struggled privately with depression and loneliness during career lulls. At 87, she dedicates much of her time to voice work and animal advocacy, living modestly with an estimated $4 million net worth, derived from residuals and charitable efforts. Her life reflects a story of resilience and generosity despite personal hardships. Goldie Hawn, the breakout star of Laugh-In at just 21, captivated audiences with her bubbly charm and impeccable comedic timing. Her career skyrocketed after the show, leading to numerous acclaimed film roles and sustained popularity. Yet her personal life was marked by complexities. She endured 2 marriages. Her first ended in a painful divorce filled with public disputes, and her second, with longtime partner Kurt Russell, was marked by prolonged separations and persistent rumors of infidelity that strained their relationship. Goldie is mother to 3 children, Oliver, Kate, and Wyatt, all of whom have followed creative paths in entertainment. Despite amassing a net worth exceeding $60 million, she has openly battled anxiety and past struggles with substance abuse. Family tensions flared publicly, especially due to a period of estrangement from her son Oliver after a bitter feud. Now 79, Hawn remains active both in film and philanthropy, embodying a layered legacy that blends glamour with personal vulnerability. Her journey reflects a woman who has faced the highs and lows of fame with grace, continuing to inspire through resilience and compassion. Judy Carne, famous for her slapstick humor and the iconic phrase, "Sock it to me," was 28 when she became a key part of Laugh-In. Offstage, her life was rife with tragedy. She experienced 2 marriages. Her first husband died unexpectedly young, leaving her devastated, while her second marriage was plagued by alcoholism and domestic violence. She had no children and struggled with addiction for much of her life. After Laugh-In, Judy's career sharply declined as she withdrew from public life, battling loneliness and health problems. She passed away in 2015 at age 76 due to pneumonia complications, spending her final years in a modest assisted living facility with limited financial means. Her estate was valued under $100,000, underscoring the harsh toll of personal demons and fleeting fame. Judy's story stands as a poignant reminder of the emotional costs behind comedy's bright facade and the often unseen battles that accompany celebrity. Johnny Brown, beloved for his comedic roles including his memorable portrayal of Ed Sullivan on Laugh-In, was 30 when he gained recognition on the show. His warm demeanor and impeccable comedic timing secured him steady work throughout his career. Yet behind the laughter, his family life faced many difficulties. Married once with 2 children, his family endured significant financial hardship following a failed business venture. Chronic health issues, particularly diabetes, increasingly limited his career opportunities in later years. Johnny passed away in 2022 at 84, due to complications from his illnesses. His estate was modest, roughly $800,000, much of which went towards medical expenses. Despite these challenges, Brown was fondly remembered for his kindness, humor, and the joy he brought to audiences, leaving behind a legacy of warmth amid personal struggles. Who is your favorite character from Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In TV series 1967 to 1973? How does it feel knowing that some of the actors are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for your support.